Hello, hello. I want to welcome you to Beauty Superstars Talk. This is your backstage pass to experts in beauty. My name is Mickey Wright, and I'm your host and salon pricing strategist. I help hairstylists go from struggling to superstar, and I help them gain the confidence that they need to raise their prices and actually charge what they're worth. So, the beginnings of this show were born out of the tragic murder of George Floyd and the racial tensions that erupted across the nation and worldwide. They quickly spilled into the beauty industry, which is still one of the most segregated industries in the country. And each month I have a series or a topic that I do. And my very first one was Do Black Colorists Matter? And I met with Black Colorist Matter founder Jessica Kidd, who's now Kid Bullock. She's gotten married since we met, and four other top Black colorists: James Smith, Joy Wallace, Kia Neal, and Patrick Bradley. And we spoke about the explosion of Black colorists and how they got very little mainstream recognition or benefits from hair color companies, which were majority owned. And honestly, some of the companies are doing better, but we wondered, when will we have a Black owned or multicultural owned color companies? And so little did we know that one was quietly brewing in the background and positioned for a major blast off. And that company is Blonde Solutions. And we are here today with their owners. Let's see, Aymen and Leah Al Dobley. Make sure I can pronounce that all correctly.
You got it. How you doing?
Doing great. And before we jump in, it's like I'd just like to share a little bit about the about what we do here, which is Beauty Superstars Talk. And each and every week, I get the opportunity to meet with Black beauty bosses who are doing amazing things in the beauty industry. It's people come here and they actually share nuggets to help us all become better beauty professionals, better entrepreneurs. We're here to actually embrace our history and support that, as well as bring healing to our industry. And so, more than a podcast, it really is a movement. And so, we are excited to move forward in this. It's like we want to thank our sponsor, which is the Luxury Hairstylist Blueprint, which is a course that gives you 5 steps to be able to easily be able to raise your prices and charge what you're worth. And we've got a free power pricing workbook. And so if you are thinking about raising your prices, no, you should raise your prices. No, you should have raised your prices. It's like you can download a free copy at beautysuperstars.com and take that with you. And so I think without any further ado, we will just jump right into our conversation. And I would love for you guys to just introduce yourself and, your role in the company and tell us about, the other members of the company.
All right. Okay, you go first.
So my name is Leah Dobley. I am co-owner, co-founder. My title in the company is COO of Blonde Solutions. I'm really excited to be a part of Blonde Solutions because a lot of people don't know, like, after high school, I wanted to go ahead and, like, go to cosmetology school, but my parents were like, hell no. So it's kind of like a nana boo-boo to my parents. Like, I did what they wanted to do, did the 4-year college thing, and I'm truly working in something that I love, which is the beauty industry, and I get to do it with what not a lot of people get to do with their spouse and best friends and family.
Awesome. Well, we love it. We're in all of it. So tell us, Simon.
All right. So my name is Aymen. I've been a hairstylist for the past 15 years. My family owns a chain of salons in Chicago by the name of Yahiya's. So if you're familiar of, the Midwest, a lot of people know about, Egyptian hair salons. We were actually one of the first Egyptian hair salons in Chicago. We started doing independent distribution, and it went from independent distribution to actual manufacturing. And in the middle of that, I began doing education. So I was doing brand education for a while, and then we started doing independent education, and that's when me and my wife started a independent education company. And that pretty much we were able to CE hours. Yeah. So pretty much we were able to, let's say you're an artist, you would come to Chicago and we would pretty much sponsor your class with hours. And it kind of started there. So the education, the manufacturing, all of it kind of just was like a melting pot for things to come together. And then my partner, Daniel, he's our CMO, also co-founder. He's actually one of the people who believed in me first. I'm not going to lie, when it came to bringing something to a peer. Sometimes you can bring something to somebody, and if they don't see any potential in it, then they might, leave it. They might not mess with it. So with him, I brought it to him. He was like, hey man, I'm down with you. We're going to do this and we're going to make it happen. So anytime he took a leap of faith on us, so since he did it, we're riding to the top together. And my father, he's also in production with us. He's actually our CFO. So my dad, by him being an older stylist and seeing him not create an exit strategy for himself, I figured as his son, let me help and be the person to help with his exit strategy and make sure that he's taken care of, because a lot of stylists, a lot of hairstylists don't realize that we have to have an exit plan. And in order to step out of your comfort zone, I think during the pandemic, Blonde Solutions actually launched during the pandemic. I think it gave us a lot of time to sit down and figure out what we really wanted.
Yeah.
A lot of businesses, thrived after the pandemic. So we took full advantage that we noticed that our industry, it was shot in the foot when it came to, Black education and just Black hair care. I was probably one of the, few people who was doing blonding education classes for African-American hair, or just for textured hair in general. And so we just went with that. So now we're building a core group of educators, independent educators, that now represent our brand. So it's a hybrid between independent education along with brand education. So right now, and there's a huge difference between, the two. So now I think, going forward for year 2 for Blonde Solutions is just getting this education down. And we are actually starting international distribution.
Oh, awesome. Awesome.
Yep.
Well, you just said a mouthful. It's like there's
Sorry.
what you just
let's run it back.
Run it back.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, it's like, well, it's like I love, what you guys are doing. It's like I love seeing you guys do it together. It's like this series is on It's a Family Affair. And
Okay.
so it's, really cool that you guys have your real family, it's like you're married, and then you've got your dad, and then you've got your partner. So it's like your Blonde Solutions family. And so we love hearing about that. Definitely, it's like I'm second generation. It's like my mom's a hairstylist. And so I love, your thoughts, in terms of creating an exit strategy, for your father, and potentially being able to share some of that with other hairstylists, because it's like, we all need an exit strategy.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. And you guys started, it's like, I know, like you've like kind of blown up and quickly.
Yeah.
So
I think a lot of that came to, I don't think there's been a company out there that shows how a product works on 2 demographics equally. I think it was really important for us to show our classes when we did our tour. We probably had the most diverse classroom out of any class I've ever seen. And I'm not just saying that just because it's ours, but it was, people who would never cross paths in life.
Goth girls with girls from the Bronx taking pictures and kicking it. It was like a dope experience.
It was so different to the point where we were like, man, I think we really have something genuine here that will probably shake up the industry. So when you're talking about diversity, we're diverse. That is probably our brand. Like, we actually sell diversity. So it's a little different than trying to give you a product and then finding the hottest diverse artists to sell it. That's not this. This is actually created by a diverse group.
Right. And I love that, because I think that's, like part of, why I do what I do. It's like we want to bring people together and, celebrate our excellence, but also bring everyone together, because it's like hair is hair. Hair is a texture. And hair, the things that transcend it, or the things that can bring us together, is like a love of beauty and a love of education and a love of, creating great hair. Can bring us together if we allow it to. And so it's like, I love that you're building it in that way, and that people are gravitating to it in that way.
And I think people see it's organic. Like, this is, it's from the ground up. People love to hear how you started, as opposed to a lot of these brands that are just big companies that just, a lot of people who aren't hairstylists, they just drop a lot of money into a product that they feel like is trending, and they just kind of go with that. They find the hottest artists out here, they put a famous person on it, and they just call it a day. Like, we're a little bit different. We are trying to build a community within Blonde Solutions that does focus on blonde, because I was always told my whole life as an artist, Black girls can't go blonde. Like, that was like something that was taught, from the beginning of hair school. And now that, we have products, and, it goes along with technology. We never thought we'd be talking to each other the way we are right now. So you have to keep up with the time. So the direction that the hair industry is going in, and the acceptance to education on both sides, Black or white, is really what's, pushing this brand right now.
Yeah. So tell us, backtrack us and tell us, why did the brand start? How did the brand start? It sounds like you had kind of a brainstorm, but what did that actually look like?
Man, so it first started, I guess, I don't know if you guys remember, I kind of blew up the industry in a second, where I put up these numbers that were showing that the demographics that were on these like Instagram pages weren't necessarily fair to the African American community. Even though my numbers were wrong by a decimal point, it still changed the industry from that day forward. That was when a lot of people took the first step to change the industry. So once we saw that, we decided to really make sure that this product was able to work on both demographics of hair. Yeah. So when we would get like our products to test, Aymen would go ahead and test it on natural hair or textured hair. And at the same time, which a lot of people I feel like were missing in the business side of the industry, we had Daniel also testing it on fine hair. So we had all this testing going on both demographics of hair to make sure, I can lighten the level 7 hair, but it's going to kill the curl over here on level 2. We can get level 2 up the chart, but now we're frying off level 7 hair or whatever. Yep. And it was just a really meticulous process that I feel like we just had to take the time to sit down and look at it.
It took us about
that was most of your guys' aspect.
It took us about 2 years to find the right combination of lightener and developer. Again, like I'm a shop baby, so my dad always told me like all developers are the same, like it doesn't matter. And I honestly feel like not all developers are created equal. So I feel like the more protection you can get inside your developer, the higher you can allow your lift to go without creating damage. So I think people also don't realize that African American hair can take a whooping. It can take a beating. So you can also lift your hair without damaging it, but our process is slow. So you can't go platinum in an hour or two, but can you get platinum in about 4 or 5 hours? Yeah, you can. It just the process is a little slow. So our motto behind the brand is low and slow. Everything we do, you don't get rich overnight. There's like not an overnight success. We do encourage using blonde solutions. It is a higher end product, so we want to push it as a higher end product. And in order to do that, you do have to charge a little bit more for your clients. I think that's the biggest learning curve. It's not the bleaching part that's hard to teach people. It's the charging your client a little bit more because you're going platinum in a day part that is the learning curve. So in the process, I lost clients when I started changing my prices around. I lost them because they weren't willing to pay that, but they also were like old clients I've had. So you're going to lose some and you're going to gain some new ones. So, but the platinum industry is going to make you change, the way you work. And that's our goal.
I think another thing that was really good for our team is like the diversity you see within our team. Like you see a lot of these companies preaching diversity, but if you ever look at their core top corporate staff, there's not a lot of diversity. We literally all we're different races, different gender, different religions. And so one of the things, like, no, I'm not a hairstylist, but I was brought onto this team because a lot of people think, okay, let's start a product, let's launch it. No one's taking the time to what I like to call button it up and make sure that you can go ahead and walk inside of these distribution meetings where you're not talking to hairstylists, you're talking to other business professionals, and have hairstylists be able to communicate on a level of the business person. That's something that I think is really beautiful. And a lot of people take it for granted. Like when I see artists, because I'm not an artist, I can't walk into an artist world. I don't see it. But to see an artist be able to walk into an analytics world and be able to move so fluidly, it's something beautiful, and it's an asset to the team that I don't know, sometimes I feel like we all have it inside of us, but in the team, to have artists, business professionals, and just diversity, we have no other choice but to bleed diversity through our company.
Yeah. And it's powerful. It's like, I like what you're saying. And it's like, I definitely came to know about Blonde Solutions because of that post, actually, with Beauty Politics. Yeah. It's like, I saw the post and I knew it to be true from an instinctual, type of basis. And, like many others was during that time, I guess, outrage is one of the feelings, but it was really a deep sadness, a deep anger, a deep everything that was going on for me. And then I, saw Cynthia Lumsey's post, and I think your post was a reaction to that. And Cynthia Lumsey is a phenomenal hair colorist, and she is a brown girl, and she has been afforded different opportunities because she's such an exceptional colorist and educator as well. And she's experienced a lot of things that she shouldn't necessarily have had to experience because she is very melanated. And so she had, quite a post. So I don't know who saw it or who didn't, but
we saw it. We actually I had made one in regards to I think another thing, like on the back end of it, one of my main reasons for doing this as an artist was I did feel a lot during that time, and even before that, we work really hard for a lot of brands. We are literally their billboards. And I did feel like companies would pick and choose who they wanted to support and who they didn't. And if they didn't support you and you would ask why, they would give you, the runaround and just tell you, you got a soda bottle in the background. Sorry, I couldn't post.
That
whatever,
was a real excuse.
Somebody told me because I had a bottle of water in the background, they couldn't repost my picture. So I'm like, okay, fine. I think I realized that the only way to control my destiny and my work to get out there is to own the company, and I can post what I want. That was kind of like one of the things that was personal for me, is that now that I have my own platform or my own company, I can post myself every day if I want to. Yeah, with a water bottle in the back. Right. All the water bottles in the back. I didn't do that. It's one of those, just life lessons. But personally, I knew that I wanted to create a change. And if you ever look at the Blonde Solutions page, and I'll give this to my boy Daniel, shout out to him for this. When we first started this, we really wanted our page to be like the editorial shots with the pretty, pictures of the product and all that. If you look at Blonde Solutions, our page doesn't look like any of that. Okay. And we kind of followed the concept of, if you all remember the OxyClean man, he had some of the most simple commercials, but OxyClean works. That's all we were trying to do. We're not trying to sell you a dream. We want you to see this product. We want you to use this product. And once you try it, you're like, oh, this is different. So once you use it and you see it, I'm not trying to sell you something. I want you to just see this. And so everything you see on Blonde Solutions is raw content.
From people that are popular or not popular.
Yeah. So you'll have somebody who made it to the Blonde Solutions page that has 500 followers. You'll find somebody on there that has 100,000 followers. We don't pick and choose. If the work is good, it goes up. Right. We don't care about a water bottle in the back, guys. Okay. It doesn't matter over here. Okay. If it's good,
that's a good thing. Yeah. And the water bottle in the back makes me think of part of your post, Leah, was just talking about some experiences that you guys had. And you remember what you posted or want to share any of that? Because I think it's so.
Which part? I remember the numbers.
The numbers, as like you shared how you were treated from Pulp Riot, walking into a restaurant and people getting
Sugarfoot. Yes. Okay, so I can tell you this because this is a real story, so no one can really sue us ever. So I'm not gonna drop all the names. So there was this one guy that Aymen was cool with, and we were all hanging out, and I think it was the hair show, the ABS show here in Chicago. And one guy happened to be married to one of the top people affiliated with Pulp Riot. So she was cool. I'm not going to lie. And a lot of people come at her for different things. I get it, but I'm not going to stop. I smoked in the back with this girl, and she's super cool. So weed's legal. So if you have a problem with weed, it's recreational in Illinois. Chill. So that was my disclaimer. And yes, I smoke. Shout out cookies. Anyways, so I had a whole conversation with her that had nothing to do with hair. So when I say that, I met a human to human interaction. It was great. So we go into Giordano's. It was Giordano's Pizza because we're in Chicago. You got to have some deep dish pizza. And her teammates and associates were meeting us there. They were already there. We were coming there lately or afterwards. So when we walk in, we sit down and the faces stopped. Everyone looked. Half the table got up and walked away. And there was only one girl, and she was from the northwest suburbs where I'm from, and we just knew each other's high schools that sat and talked to us. So it was Ash and the girl, I forgot her name. She was dope. I forgot she went to Wheaton High School. And we just had a conversation because we both know, we both went to well-respected high school. We're not just some kids that don't know nothing or don't know how to act. You're not sitting with no hood bookers. You're sitting with some professional Black people. And if the fact that my skin bothers you that much, then I'm sorry, that's what white supremacy was always about. It was about no matter how much I accomplished in this world as a Black person, you can always feel like you're better than me. And that stops with my generation. We don't play that in my generation, and I'm from Chicago, where it's very diverse communities.
Yeah, you'll never walk into a Blonde Solutions dinner and have a bunch of Blonde Solutions artists
and I'll fire everybody
and feel uncomfortable. And I've been in a couple of situations like that. It wasn't just Pulp Riot. It's been a couple of situations where I walked into the room as a Black artist or a Black educator and just not felt welcome. And it's one of those things where the only way to control that is to create your own environment.
I will say this though, Ash and her husband never made us feel unwelcome.
Yes. Yep.
If anything, they felt maybe not shamed,
embarrassed.
but a little embarrassed of how their
embarrassed.
peers and friends acted. But I will say this in their defense, they definitely did all they can to make sure we were welcome despite what was going on around us.
Because it's embarrassing, because let's say you don't think like that and you are one of those artists, and shout out to a lot of the, white artists that do support Black education. Shout out to some that are actually teaching Black education. I don't know if you all have noticed, there's been a lot of Caucasians that are now teaching, ethnic hair, which I love. That means that you actually took the time to sit and learn it. And then now you feel comfortable where you can teach it. Some people are like, oh, they don't want them to come and teach. Look, somebody's got to do it at this point. Like we can't just sit back. Like, if they want to teach it, just let them teach it. But that also means that if they are teaching it, that it might be a lack of education on our end. So what we did notice during a lot of these Blonde Solutions classes is that the knowledge of a lot of Black colorists is not as extensive as their white counterparts.
Like measuring.
Measuring is.
You get questions. I don't even do hair, and I get so many questions about like the 1-to-2 ratio, and then when you talk to them, you find no, they don't even own scales.
Yeah. But that also comes from, I think a lot of people don't realize that a lot of this just comes back from your schooling, of the way you go to school. So most African American hair schools focus on straightening, relaxers, styling, just in general. Most Caucasian hair schools usually focus on what? Cutting and coloring. So depending on the direction that you go in, I know a lot of African Americans that went to Pivot Point, and they are completely different than the ones that went to, Dudley's or whatever, the other, hair schools that are out there that are predominantly Black. So
that's something we need to change though, as a Black community. Make sure people are coming out of these cosmetology schools knowing to use a scale, not eyeballing it. Like,
you got to remember, that's not their focus. So like, if their focus is more of straightening, or if their focus
is to produce cosmetology,
let's say extensions, but say a lot of them do have focuses. So they're
like majors.
Yeah, almost like majors. Yeah.
Okay.
Would you agree that you feel like a lot of schools kind of have like their set ways of teaching? So if you go to a predominantly African American school, that you see they teach a little bit more extensions, they teach more of braiding, they teach more of natural hairstyles, as opposed to Caucasian schools that usually teach just cutting and coloring.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like
separation between.
Part of it is the, like you say, the focus of the school.
Yeah.
But it's not just the focus of the school, it's the clients, the people who come in to get their hair services done and what they're wanting. So, it's like with one of I went to 2 schools, but one of them, there was a high Hispanic population in terms of the area. So it's like we got a lot of cutting time, because they had long hair and then wanted to get it cut in, short, medium, long, or what have you. Yeah. And so we got a lot of cutting experience, and we also took all of that hair that was on the floor, long pieces of hair, and had swatches to do on with dark hair.
Okay.
And so that was a product of being in that particular school with the clientele that comes there. Traditionally, if you've gone to a Black school, the clientele is like, I don't want my hair cut. My hair colored. Yeah. This is what I want now.
That's absolutely right, actually.
And it's like, and I have to step in and just say, Dudley's, I think, in my estimation, is responsible for a lot of the Black colorists that we see today. That a lot of the education that they provided to people like Patrick Dudley, Kia Neal, and Micheline Barber, there's a whole list, and I feel like I'm probably leaving out a lot of people.
The reason why I said Dudley's is that's
trickled down to what we have now.
Yep, Dudley's is the only school that I can think of that was Black, that had a reputation, that had students that came out that had quality work. And at least in Chicago. So I don't know about, in other states, but if you went to Dudley, that was, creme de la creme of your Black schools, but then it stopped there. They didn't try to like push any education further than what they had. So some of it was dated, or they weren't keeping up with the times of a lot of these schools. So some schools now, they're actually seeking out independent brands, because they want these kids, when they come out of school, to be prepared. So you can't go off of the same education that we've had from, years ago. We got to, upgrade a little bit more. So a lot of our classes, people,
but where does no measuring come from? Do y'all measure in school?
Yeah, we measured in school, but I think that also
some places have scales and some haven't. It's like, and I've worked in some places that work with a scale.
So you can eyeball. Okay.
You can,
but you don't eyeball per se, but you can eyeball. It's like once you kind of get a feel for it. Like,
you've been doing it long enough, you're gonna eyeball it.
But but it's like usually you're using a a bottle or a bowl, and you're using some level of measurements. So
I see like a baking cup, like not a baking cup, but when
exactly,
you one of these,
exactly like a measuring cup is more of what you're using, but it's like if you use a scale, of course, it's going to be more precision.
Yeah, and when you're working with a product, and I want to go across the board and say when you're working with a product that gives specific directions, and I want this to be known. A lot of hairstylists have been doing hair for over 5 years. A lot of us are stuck in our ways. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're stuck in your ways and there's a learning curve in something new, you have to keep an open mind to it and don't be so closed-minded to new education. So our learning curve with using Blonde Solutions is you have to mix it for about like 3 to 4 minutes, right?
Okay.
It has to be mixed thoroughly. A lot of us, when we mix it, we whip it up for a good like 20, 30 seconds and then boom, put it on the hair. A lot of the times what happens is even if you do it with other products, sometimes that's what causes blotchiness or it doesn't cause the product to run on as smooth. Right. So that's one. And then also our product works slower, but it works slower on purpose in order for you to achieve the blondes that you need. So we had a lot of Black artists in the beginning that did not want to support it because they felt like it was too much of a learning curve. And then we had artists that came out of nowhere that just started smashing it right off the bat. They grabbed the concept, they got it, and they ran with it. But the difference between this style, not saying that their work is better or worse. I think it's open-minded, being open-minded to using a new product. So similar to when Olaplex came into the market, everybody's like, I'm not using this squeeze bottle to measure out this little bit and add a little bit and do this step 1, step 2. Now we're at step 7. You know what I mean? So we can't really say that we don't follow the the protocol of whatever these products are to get these special results. Just keep an open mind when you're using new products and new technology. You can't just just give up on it.
Right. And like you said, it's like learning how it actually works always makes the product work better.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And then again, there's some people that they tried it once and was like, this doesn't work for me, not for me. And as stylists, some of us, they do that. But if I constantly see people that are getting good results, I'm like, all right, let me try to figure this out, because some of these results are coming in too good for me not to figure it out. And some people took the time to figure it out. Others just kind of like, I'm not doing it.
It's like Bitcoin. You could try to figure it out back in 2016, exactly. Or you can try and get it now while it's worth almost $60K.
Yeah, just be open-minded. I would like to know, based off of the people who view this and everything, using Blonde Solutions, what are some of the pros and cons that people notice about it that they want? And the reason why it's important for us to get feedback is because we would never know how the product is doing without feedback. So it's important to get raw feedback. We don't want to, you don't have to come at us like, I don't get it, this is terrible, I'm not getting the lift that I want, this sucks, and I think people have a bad way of delivering that they're not getting the right results. But I will say I have seen some people's pages where with using this product or not using this product, you weren't gonna get those results regardless. So we have to go back to the measuring properly, using the right directions, using the correct steps. You can't just continue to use this as you've been using it before thinking you're gonna get new results. You see what I'm saying? Like you got to keep that open concept.
If you don't measure, your micropigmentation capsules are not going to burst in time, and they're going to burst on the head, and you're going to have a Fruity Pebbles head. So if you don't measure, you're going to end up with Fruity Pebbles on your head.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, and with the whole technology piece or what have you, it's like this is on scalp lightener, correct?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
And so I think the main thing that we really wanted to focus on, everybody who is anybody has underlying pigment in their hair, right? I don't care if you're white, I don't care if you're black, everybody has it. What happens during the lightening process is slowly you're removing that unwanted pigment, leaving the hair open, and then you're depositing new color in. So it's almost like lipo, right? You're like taking out the fat and then putting in the good stuff and wherever you want or whatever color you want, right? And that's the best way I can explain it. You're extracting and then you're changing it, right? What we found out is during the process of lightening, right around ranges 5 or 6, something weird happens. And that's when a lot of the red pigmentation begins to fade at that point. So what we did was we put pure pigment into our products. So once it hits that 5 or 6 range, it cancels completely at that range. So once you start getting into your 7, your 8s, your 9s, instead of it still having that yellow tone, it is now canceled out at the lower levels. So now you have pure, you can actually rinse. Some people, they do highlights and they don't tone. That's why if you see like us talking about raw lift, we focus on the raw lift because I can slap toner on level 9 hair all day and call it platinum. That does not mean it's platinum. That just means that it's platinum toned, but the hair, give it about 2 weeks, it's going to be yellow.
Right.
So you have to lift past the point of yellow or underlying pigment to say that the hair is purely white. And so if you look at a lot of our pictures, the hair almost looks clear when you look at it, because our lighteners started working. Most lighteners start canceling out around 8, 9. Ours started canceling at 5, 6. So we, even though it's moving slower, it's almost scrubbing every single bit of underlying pigment inside the hair. So it works slower, and it processes up to 2 hours. Most lighteners cut off at about an hour. Ours can stay on scalp for 2 hours.
Okay. Wow.
Yep. That's the killer part right there.
Yeah, pretty impressive.
Yeah. Yep.
No scalp irritation and that type of thing if they haven't.
No. Now, what we do recommend, if you do have someone who has scalp irritation, well, across the board, we recommend consultations. Okay, across the board. If you don't do a consultation, there's no way to find out if their scalp itches or if they're allergic reaction or anything.
Because medicine they take could irritate.
Yes. I had one young lady, her scalp burned really crazy, but I found out she was taking thyroid medicine. And the thyroid medicine made her scalp extremely sensitive to any chemical. So it could have been relaxer, bleach, anything. And she didn't know, and I didn't know. So with the give and take of that, I did a strand test on her. Always ask your clients what type of medication are they taking. If they are on any medication, I would highly recommend asking their doctor, would this affect my hair if I was to get it bleached? Okay. And that's the only way to find that out, is to put the bleach on somebody's head and find out afterwards. So the best thing to do is just to ask them beforehand. But that goes with any lightening service. Yeah, that's any lightening service, not just Blonde Solutions. Everybody should be doing strand tests. You know, when we're talking about going full blonde, like you have to highlights. One thing I recommend, highlight strand tests for all hair, even if you're doing strand highlights, because they have natural lying pigment in their hair or any type of box dyes, you don't want any surprises. Just do a strand test. It won't hurt.
Yeah. Tell us just a little bit more about that to emphasize why we need to do strand tests.
Same reason doctors do consultations before surgery.
Yep. No, she's absolutely right. Actually, that's exactly what it is. You've never walked into a doctor's office and say, hey, you know, I want to get this surgery done, without them talking to you first.
Or looking at it,
or at least looking at
your health.
Yep. A lot of the times I say no when it comes to blonding. I say no more than I say yes. So again, there's certain, you know, let's say you're going to get a surgery done. Some doctors will tell you no if they feel like you can't get it done. It's the same thing. So you have to know the hair that you're working on first. You should be nervous every time you're doing blonding, because even myself, I've been doing them, you know, for a while, and I still get nervous every time I step up. And you should, because you should never be better, or in your mind, I got this. You should never be that cocky to a situation. You should always be like, oh my God, I hope this doesn't break off. You know what I mean? Like, you should always have that like underlying fear. And as long as you have that underlying fear, you'll always be safe.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So don't ever think you're better than the hair. Okay. So, and always don't ever think that products will save your life. This isn't a magic wand. Okay. And that goes for any product that's out on the market. You still have to be conscious to what you're doing. So, sometimes, let's say I'm doing a strand test, I have 2 different levels. I have a 20 volume, a 35 volume, to see which one gives me a better lift, which one in the hair is healthier. So you still have to be conscious. You know, most of the artists that we are using, Blonde Solutions, have been doing hair for a while. Is it a little bit more advanced than your average lightener? Yes, but are people in school still able to use it? Yeah. You just have to be, you know, use your common sense with using it.
Okay. Yeah. So what was it that made you feel like there was something maybe missing from the landscape of, you know, like there were lots of lighteners, you know, before you guys started? But
I can tell a real story.
What is it?
How the model contacted you who went blonde on publication?
Yeah, without a name, sure.
Okay, so a couple years ago, there was this picture that everyone saw of girls of different nationalities laying down on the floor, and they all got blonde hair. And the textured model ended up calling him because her hair was like, her curls were screwed. And the reason was, there was no aftercare. So the people that had doing the hair never instructed each model on how to take care of the hair. One of the things here at Blonde Solutions, we're going to tell you and recommend what you can do for your hair. Even though we don't have, home care right this second, we'll still recommend another company that can go out and take care of this blonde. That was part 1. Part 2, a lot of people know that this company is a little bit too strong and aggressive when blonding, especially trying to reach level 11. So I think the fact that this black model from this famous hair company called Aymen in shambles because her hair is messed up, let us know that a lot of people will put their bleach on a black girl and shoot the shot, but not tell you what's happening afterwards. Blonde Solutions, you could put this on a black girl, take a photo shoot, and recommend her aftercare product, and she'll be okay. She'll keep her curls. So that's what really happened. That's what
okay.
Yeah.
So she kept her hair but didn't keep her curls.
Yeah. And I think one thing that people realize, or that they need to realize, is that lightener, when you're going light, there's two ways that it can work on African American hair. One way that it can be worked, it can actually be used as somewhat of a texturizer. All right. And I tell people all the time, if you want to loosen your curl or make it a little bit more manageable, go as light as you can blonde, and you'll see your curl pattern change. Okay. There's a lot of girls who have like 4C, 4B hair type that for them, their hair type is a little too tight for them to work with. So what they end up doing is they put a relaxer on it, right? Once you reach past a level 10, your curls will end up loosening. So instead of getting a relaxer, just go blonde. And that's kind of what we found out using blonde solutions. So I don't know if
that's what's
seen,
been booming in Atlanta right now.
Right now, everybody's doing like the platinum pixies, right? And the reason why they're so and shout out my guy Brian, who's been killing it with the platinum pixies. Hey, this is live,
but I gotta get a portable charger real quick. I'll be back in 2 seconds. This
is
live.
The laptop's dying. So what we saw is these platinum pixies have been coming about, and what's happening is they're using the bleach almost as a relaxer, almost to like lay the hair down to the point where they don't have a curl. And what we noticed with blonde solutions is and my buddy Brian was like, listen, I keep trying to bleach her hair. He had to bleach one model's hair about 2 or 3 times over because her curls were still there. So that says a lot about the product, that it's strong enough to get you light, but you will still have curls afterwards. So if you are looking for that platinum pixie look, you might have to double process if that's what you want. We believe in single process. Now that we found out that there's multiple ways, again, people will take your product and find cool ways to use it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So he found a really cool way to use it. And he was like, man, I stopped doing relaxers. All I do is just pure white. So I was like, all right, cool. That's interesting that he did it, but it also created like a wave, no pun intended, like it's a wave, but I created a wave within the beauty industry that people are like, yo, I can go platinum, wear my hair straight, and I don't have to worry about getting it, curled, anything. They can just wear it, flat.
Right.
So that's, I think, the diversity of the brand is right there. So you see a lot of girls with curly fros. They don't have that much warmth in their hair, which usually if they were to use any other brand, they would have a lot of warmth. And then you have girls with these platinum pixies. So Blonde Solutions now has two different ways. Blowouts. Oh yeah, and then you can also blow your hair out with it. So for the girls that have like wavy in between hair, they would still be able to wear their hair straight if they want.
Okay. So you can put heat on it afterwards.
Yep. It's that versatility has never been showed in the blonde or in the color industry in general. They always show what? Every time you see a girl with texture, it's a fro.
Right.
And I was sick of seeing every single one. And shout out to anybody who does texture hair, please. I'm not talking about anybody who does texture. I just feel like across the board, in order for you to be labeled as a textured artist, it had to be a fro. It had to be like in its natural state. Black women wear extensions. They wear the hair colored. They wear blow dried. It does not always have to be natural. And it's natural.
And I wear
She's natural and she wears a blow dry. I don't like when people label that. It's almost like trying to put us in a box, and I don't like that. Across the board, these are all textured artists.
Absolutely.
We got to break that stigma right there. We definitely got to break that.
Yeah. It's like just looking at the industry, kind of the landscape of the industry in terms of diversity, in terms of like where we were in 2020, when you did the post, Leah, and where we are now, where would you say we are in terms of progress?
We took a big step forward. I see a lot of like shout out to Kia. She has the rep hairations. Shout out to the Textured Hair Summit. It's usually like in January they have
Tippy Shorters,
tequila. And so I see a lot of, and then shout out to even like Hairbrained, American Salon, Beauty Launchpad. Everybody's has, from the publication standpoint, taken a step to try to show more diversity, which I think is a lot better than where we've been for years.
And I want to add on to that, because what I noticed is, even though they might not be doing it on the forefronts in front of everybody, because if you do it too much, it's gonna look like, okay, guys, you just kind of
trying too hard.
We've seen a little bit of that.
Yeah, I want everybody right now to give as much love to Beauty Launchpad, because they not only did they hire more Blacks behind the scenes. It's not about what's on the forefront. Right. You can put somebody on the front and take a picture of them and throw it up. Oh yeah, we support. But who's actually making that post? You see what I'm saying? So they actually added me to their advisory board.
I think Kia's on it too.
And Kia's on it as well. And what they're doing is they really look to us like, hey, if I'm missing somebody who's talented, please point me in the right direction.
Mm-hmm.
That right there was a monumental move to come to other artists to ask them, hey, who should we be looking at that we're missing? And they didn't have to announce that I was advisory board. I didn't ask it myself. I said it myself. But like, you don't have to announce across the board that you are. They didn't have to do that. Do you see what I'm saying? I think it's in maybe like their pitch deck if you want to, buy something from them as far as marketing. They never said, hey guys, just to let you know, we have somebody who's on the advisory board. He's Black. They didn't have to do that. They never did that. So big up to them. Big up to Allison Kerr. She's always, held us down and, supported from day one. So those brands that are doing that and behind closed doors making a difference, huge shout out to them. But is a change happening? Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I think we might have just took a bigger step, and instead of waiting for somebody to make a change for us, we made a change ourselves. Mm-hmm. And I think that's probably the direction that it needed to go in.
Right. Yeah. Well, there's so much, in terms of what's happening in the industry, but bring us back to Blonde Solutions. It's like you guys started when? You said in 2020.
July 15th, 2020. Yep.
July 15th, 2020. Okay. And it is, as we sit here, what date is this? This is November.
November 8th.
Yeah.
November 8th. Yeah. And this will air in a few weeks. And so what has transpired for Blonde Solutions? And
woo! No,
I think I made a post this morning. Everyone thinks like being an entrepreneur and success is just so pretty. Y'all can see I'm on a whole live, no makeup. We don't have time to do nothing anymore. I told them, I just want to go back and get a job, Jim. Like I just want to go back work corporate. This is a lot of stress, but at the same time, when you pray for things, God will overflow your cup, and He's not going to give you more than you can handle.
Yep. I would say, for Blonde Solutions, for it to be this amount of time, we focus more on everybody's like, you're going to go into a store? Are you guys doing this? I think our main focus was to build a community around us first. We pretty much, I think in this past, a little more than a year, I think what we did was, one, find out the direction that we want this company to go in. And then two, making sure that we had the educators that are properly training everybody else. So Blonde Solutions is pretty much looking for educators, and we decided to do it the non-traditional way, which is most companies just find an educator, pay them X amount of dollars, and they give them free product and just call it a day. We actually wanted to seek out artists and have them kind of compete a little bit. So grew up in that generation where hair competitions was like real big. And I've always loved them. I've always loved battles and stuff like that. So we decided to go ahead and create the Blonde Solutions Bleach battles. And you want to pretty much explain what it is?
Yeah. So the Bleach battles, it's 4 category: textures, foliage, bleach and tone, and I know I'm missing one. Color correction.
And when she means foliage, she means just highlight foil.
Oh, just foil.
Yeah. Okay.
And pretty much what we're doing is I think he just said is most companies just go find the most kind of popular, does good work, cut them a check. We're literally letting people have an opportunity to grow with a brand like ourselves that's growing, and we'll actually take these people with us to grow. And I don't care if you have 100,000 followers or 5 followers. If you can do the work and also articulate what you're doing, then we want you a part of our team. There's been so many times I've met with some of these larger hairstylists, and then I get in front of them and it's time for them to come into a sales meeting with me where they have to do work and also explain to people who don't do hair what's going on, and they bomb. So one of the big things I know I'm looking for someone is someone who can articulate what they're doing while moving their hands.
Right.
Yep.
Okay.
So I think now a lot of people who've been doing hair for 5+ years usually get a little bored around that time, that 5 to 7 year mark. You're like, all right, I want to do something else. And a lot of time, what they do is usually teach. That's one of the ways. How else can you master what you do besides educating others? So finding a lot of these people who are either it's their first time teaching, or they just do one-on-one classes, or they teach locally in that area. This is kind of giving those people a shot to be an educator. We don't care about your following. You can have as low as you want, but if your presence is good and you can articulate yourself and you put out good work, we'll hire you. All right. So we have battles in New York, Chicago, LA, Orlando, Dallas. Those are our 5 national, regional areas that we're battling. And then we have one international, which is North America. We're doing a Toronto class. And in each city, we'll be finding 4 educators amongst those categories. So that's when I was saying that we're trying to keep the individual, or we want to keep the independent artists. The reason why we did it in those categories, because those artists independently are monsters in those categories.
Okay.
So you're blending your independent educators with your brand education, and it creates a crazy thing.
Yeah. I love the opportunity you're providing for people, and then, like you say, it's
Oh
an
yeah,
exciting
yeah.
type of.
And I'll be honest, there's some bigger artists that didn't accept the challenge because no bigger artist wants to lose to someone who's not as big as an artist. So we did not have that many entries of people that have like bigger than life followings.
Got it.
Because there's no favoritism here. If you put out good work, you're only as good as your last bleaching tone. So you better come with it. Otherwise, it is what it is. So and we want it to be a friendly too. Like, this is not one of those things where it's like competition where your work is, if you don't win, your work is trash. You're just, what we're looking for is something specific, not necessarily saying that you're not it. So like it's something that we are looking for. It's similar to like American Idol or any of these other programs. So America's Got Talent, whatever. It's the same thing. You put your best foot forward, and it is what it is.
Right. And with the regions that you're doing, it's like the people who win in those regions will kind of be responsible for the education in those regions.
You got it. Yep.
Absolutely.
And then out of those, so the way we have it set up is kind of, we have bosses and then we have under bosses. So the under bosses are going to be of the regional educators. Those are all your regional educators.
Okay.
And from those regional educators, I think it's going to be like 16.
It becomes 16 regional and 6 or 4 top educators that are like our lead educators in those categories.
Yep. Okay. So out of that 16, we will choose 4 people that will be our international educators that kind of go with us overseas. They do trade shows. Mm-hmm. So we're going to have those 4, and that's why we call them bosses. So we'll have 4 bosses of that category, and then we'll have the rest of them will be underneath the bosses, and they also teach as well. So they'll be doing like your Instagram content, your Instagram live takeovers, and the ones above them, they'll be setting up, distribution classes. So we got like a little system that, we want to put in place. It's fun for everybody.
Yeah. We could really see the growth because it's
Yep.
As a new artist, it's like, that's a great opportunity.
Yep. And that's why we didn't want to rush and throw it into stores, because you have to have the foundation of the education first. And then that's when stores would be like, okay, that looks very easy. Like, I would like to have you guys. And now we have educators to send to these distributors. I didn't want to pack up every week and have to go teach it. Every week I'm teaching somebody different. It's the same song and dance. So I would rather delegate power to people who are qualified educators to do it. And we can kind of focus on working on the brand.
Awesome. Well, like I said, this is all about family and, this being a family affair. And I know you guys have 2 young children.
Yeah.
How do you juggle everything that you're juggling?
Man, we try to figure that out today. Like, we just, you just got to do it. Like, there can't be any excuses. You have to take emotion out of business. That's like one of the biggest things. So like, even though we're husband and wife, I think the biggest thing that we had to learn was we had to separate the emotions of being married to each other, and focus on the business. Like, it still has to be, you all still got to love each other, but still respect each other's workspace. Yeah. Still respect each other, work-wise. So like, I would hate hearing people saying, she's with you, working on the company just because she's the wife. If she wasn't the person who she is by herself as an individual, I wouldn't have her working with me as my partner. So not everybody has to work with their spouse.
Nope.
Let me get that out there first.
We set this up like 10 years ago.
Yeah, we already kind of knew that we wanted to work with each other, because when we met, she was very business savvy. I've always been very like independently aggressive when it came to like, my entrepreneurship. So we just kind of like worked, and she found out that I was a hairstylist. She was like, she does PR and marketing. So she was like, I could market that all day. And so I was like, let's do it then. Market me then. So, she put me in a couple magazines, and it kind of like, it sparked this relationship. Like, okay, she can help brand me better, and I have the artistic side, as well as, knowing my knowledge from my import and exports from my dad. It just worked, like, it just kind of clicked.
Don't force it if it don't work.
Don't force. That's like probably the biggest thing. I know a lot of people that want to work with their spouse, but
my parents have been married 35 years, and the reason their marriage works is because my mom's a flight attendant and my dad's an over-the-road truck driver. Yep. They only see each other a couple times, and that's why it works.
That's exactly right. Don't force it, man. Do not. That's probably the biggest advice is if you find somebody and you all click on the business mindset, and you can see potential growth in each other, then I say do it. But if you know that somebody's over there, they're doing their thing, and you're doing yours, it's okay to have two completely different things going on. Just support each other. At the end of it, just support each other in what they wanted to do.
Right, right. And what about the kids? How do they fit into the equation?
They say mommy and daddy work a lot.
Okay.
Like they'll say mommy and daddy work a lot. But I will say this: the decision that I made to stop being behind the chair so much and to actually take on my own business, I spend more time with my kids now than I did as a hairstylist.
We all sit on the couch together.
Yep. And one I think a lot of hairstylists need to realize is that, if you have kids, your kids are only little for so long. Right. So, my father missed a lot of like my football games. He missed a lot of my I was good. And he missed a lot of my things. So I kind of held it against him. But now as I'm older, being a hairstylist, clients are demanding on a Saturday. Most of my games were on a Saturday. He wasn't leaving Saturday morning in the salon to come watch me play football. It just wasn't happening. So you have to remember, taking consideration when you have kids, they're only little for a little bit of time. So if you have something that they're interested in doing, tell your clients, hey, my child has a recital and my child has whatever they're doing, take that time out for your kid. Your clients will always be there. Your kids won't.
He cuts Saturdays.
I cut Saturdays.
Yep. Nobody cuts Saturdays in the hair industry. He cuts Saturdays to be a Little League football coach.
Yeah, I actually coached for 2 years a Little League football team that my son was on. And it gave me, when clients would be like, oh, can I come in on Saturday? Sorry, I have to go coach. Now I have a reason why I can't always be so accommodating. Mm-hmm. And I do feel like a lot of hairstylists are too accommodating to the point where your family suffers. Right. And I would be one of those artists that would be in the salon until like 11, 12 at night, haven't eaten anything, grumpy when I come home. And she's like, what's your problem? Why are you doing this? So we have to cut that mindset. Kids come first, and that's really what it comes down to. Our clients.
How do we cook dinner, meal preps? Every mom out there, I just discovered meal prep, and that's amazing. Amazing.
Yeah, you can figure it out. I think scheduling is really important.
Very.
And just making sure that your communications are, on point. So if I feel like we've been working too hard, I'd be like, hey, listen, we need a break. Like we need to go out. Like, we need to go downtown. We need to do something because this stress level is getting there. Or she'll tell me and vice versa, like, you need to take me on a date. So you have to you have to communicate in a relationship like this, and making sure you put your kids first. And I know people are probably like, how do they have kids and they're making this happen? It's up to you what you're willing to sacrifice. So if I have to sacrifice, my clientele in regards to taking clients all the time to build Blonde Solutions and have my family, then what has to be cut is me being behind that chair.
Right.
You see, so and instead of me being in the salon from Tuesday to Saturday, I'm now down to Thursday to Saturday. You see, so like, just move things around a little bit and find out what you want to prioritize in your life,
Yeah, I think you're so right. And I think a lot of people saw that during the shutdown time.
Yeah.
While there was panic, there was also looking around and saying, wait a minute, it's like, I like being
I do have kids.
Like, I do have kids.
I do have. Yeah. And your kids feel it. I don't think people kids feel it. And, being a shop baby and understanding now as I'm older, I don't hold my dad. I used to guilt trip him so bad. Like, I used to make him like, give us some money because you ain't cut on my football game. It's like I would like make him feel bad, but like you don't realize until you're older, like he was really doing this all in all for us,
right?
For the family. So do you have to sacrifice as far as being behind the chair? I want everybody just to take a step back. If they can't close their days that they're not that busy, that day that you close down, either one, spend more time with your kids or pick up something that you always wanted to do. It doesn't matter what it is. Like, I can care less. What was your perk that you said you wanted to get into?
If I go back to school?
Yeah.
So I always said if I get like super rich and just do some random stuff, I would go back to college to study religion.
Yeah,
that sounds crazy. I just want to study religion.
Just pick up something that you normally wouldn't, because life is short, so you don't want to just spend all your life behind the chair. And you're like, man, I haven't set up a retirement plan. Yeah, I haven't had no phone with my kids. We just work without setting up, what we want to do in the long run.
I would say as someone in their, I'm not in my 20s, but if you're in your 20s, when I met him when we were like 21 and 22. Yeah. And he used to work 6 days a week then. Mm-hmm. And what I would say is definitely work that hard while you're young.
Yes.
Start saving while you're young. That way, when you start like building family and having other people to like worry and care about, you can start taking a little bit of time for your family instead of just working. But make sure you worked hard enough early enough so you can afford, I guess, the cut in time that you dedicate to the family.
From 19 to 25, I worked Tuesday to Sunday.
Yep.
And I would be at the salon from 9 a.m. to about 6 p.m. every day. That I only had Monday as an off day.
Last client was at 6. He didn't get home until like 9.
Yeah.
Right.
I would literally be a slave to the salon. And I was also a sucker for somebody coming in. Oh, I got a birthday. Can you please do my hair? I was a sucker for that. Of course. Okay, I'll do your hair. You got somewhere to go. You got a flight. Now I'm like, why didn't you just call me early and tell me you had something to do?
Right.
No, I'm sorry. I have something to do. I can't be there. So will you lose clients? Yes, but eventually your clients will respect you. And they will, you know what I mean? So you do have to demand that respect from being behind the chair. There has to be some level of respect for us having a life and taking time out for our own families and separating work from home.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's like, I think that's so key. It's like, definitely we can spend a lot of time wanting to be liked when we need to spend time being respected.
And I blame us to a default because we're in the service industry. We want to give top-notch service. Part of that service is us kind of bending for that client and being, responsible for that. Oh, sorry, I can't be there. I came late and they're coming like an hour late. Well, we'll still take you. Don't worry about it. That is not good. Like they have to respect our time the same way that we respect theirs. So that was something I struggled with. And I think if I didn't have Blonde Solution, I wouldn't value time the way I do now. So I value time a lot different now. I value her. I value my kids. I value my company a lot more than I did before. It was just work, and, stopping at Starbucks and stuff my face when I could get a chance to eat. Like that's not a healthy lifestyle. You gotta change it. You gotta change it up.
Yeah. I really appreciate you saying that because I know a lot of people are in the same situation
and not happy though.
Right. And that's the thing.
Aren't happy with what they're doing, but it does pay the bills. Somebody wants to go to work unhappy. That one client that always comes, you're like, damn, I got to deal with her today. And anything that comes out of her mouth, you're like, you don't want to work like that. You want to make sure that you just change it up a little bit.
Yep, absolutely. I think that's the beauty of our industry. And sometimes we forget that it's like, we actually do kind of get to create our own schedule. And
yes, we do have the power. Actually, that was one of the things she interviewed, me about early on was that I do get to make my own schedule, but I never took advantage of it.
Right.
I just kind of. She said, as soon as she figured it out, she was like, "Oh, we going to the mall midday." So it's a learning curve, but it's definitely worth it. So we encourage anybody, take that leap on faith and whatever that dream is that you all planned on doing or that you would like to do. You have to take a day off from the salon schedule to make that happen. Like it has to be some type of sacrifice.
Yeah. It's like I have a friend. She's a single mom, and when her kids were young, she never worked in the salon on Saturdays because that was family day. And so it's like they didn't starve. You know what I mean? They survived. They're grown.
You took off on Saturday.
Took off on Saturday.
I'm not gonna lie. When I took off on Saturdays to coach my son, all their football games were on Saturday, and I was panicking. I was like, I've never taken off on Saturday. I don't even know what people do on Saturday. It's actually life outside of the salon on Saturday. Right. I was surprised. Look at people at the mall, and my wife is like, "This is what people do on the Saturday." I never knew. I was
strange, right?
But I've been in the salon on Saturday since I was 16. So when my first car, my father had me in the Saturday. It was just like, you don't do anything but go to the salon.
Right.
I've been, I don't want to say brainwashed, but that's what happened. So now, whoever was, taking off on Saturday, that's a huge leap, to do. That's almost like, getting your MBA. Like you took off on a Saturday, you're like, you're gold. She's set. In hairstyles world, that's a big thing,
I think in mom world though, it's important to schedule. It's almost like, I don't know if your friend did this, but she, instead of working a Saturday, maybe she worked Mondays to make time for the kids while the kids are at school. And I think one of the most important things as a parent is to just schedule. So like me, I just discovered this whole wake up an hour before the house, and you'll be surprised how much stuff you get done in planning, lay out the clothes, make the lunch. So many things get accomplished in that. So if you just look at how you're scheduling your time and days as a hairstylist, parent or not parent,
right,
you can get a lot of things done. If you're behind the chair and want to start a business, it only takes 1 hour a day to start a business for about 6 months to a year. Yep. So before bed, turn off the Instagram, turn off the TV, sit down with a computer and a book and start your business, even if it's only for 1 hour. 1 hour a day turns into 365 hours in that year.
Yep.
Gold. That's just gold. Yeah, we all get the same 24 hours each day. It is how we use it and how we prioritize.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, I think that's beautiful because I think that is a key, especially, kind of, I want to say post pandemic, but mid pandemic anyway, going forward. It's like we really need to be intentional with our time and really need to look at, what are the priorities, what is important. And for, just personally, I feel like that was, God globally shutting down the entire country.
Yeah,
And
to put almost like a restart button on everybody.
say that again.
Grateful for.
Yep.
I didn't hear what you said.
Oh, I feel like when God did that, it showed everyone like what to be grateful for. We have so many things to be grateful for that's right in front of us. As Americans, we have a lot of westernized problems.
Yeah.
Right. And just taking a look at like what's really important. Is all this running around? I've been doing all this working, all these hours and whatever. Is that really important?
Yep.
Yeah. So what is next for you guys? It's like you got the battles going on and you're starting your education team.
Yep.
It's like what else is coming up?
I mean, we are planning to release a couple new products from Blonde Solutions. As quiet as kept, another game changer product. But again, we didn't want to be one of those companies that drops all the hot stuff and then we don't have anything to go off of later. So this is another thing that we've been sitting on for about like 8 months. We've been sitting on this project, quietly just building it out. And then just making sure, I think next is just distribution, making sure that it's easy for everybody to, obtain it. We felt that, we can just do it online and just do e-commerce. There are still a lot of people that still like to go in store to buy stuff. So just like reaching out to different channels of distribution for people to just get in their hands, easier. And that's pretty much it. So, going forward, I think education is probably our main focus right now. And then after that, it's just kind of just laying out the company, as we go forward. We will be coming out with a home care line. So the home care line is something that can be purchased for consumers and professionals. And it's going to pretty much fit right into the brand of just sticking to blondes. I think too many companies try to like reach out and go too far and try to do a little bit of everything. We're still staying in our bubble of blonde only. And that's kind of our focus. So everything that we've dropped is going to be blonde related.
For solving a blonde problem.
Solving a blonde problem. So that's why we named it Blonde Solutions. We're not trying to dip in anybody else's cookie jar. If you in, crazy colors or whatever you're doing, that has nothing to do with us. We're just in our lane only. Even with people are asking, are we going to come out with a color line? No, it's not. It's not one of our interests to come out with a color line. It's more or less just trying to solve every blonde problem that we all have for all races, not just a black problem, not just a white problem, a problem that in the blonde industry we collectively have an issue with that needs to be fixed. That's our goal.
Yeah, and it's like I love that just as a business concept, like really niching
staying in our lane of not going too far out. So people are always asking us, if you have an educator, can they work with other brands? Of course.
Not another Bleach brand.
It can't be another brand. They can't have the Bleach. They can't use that. But we don't want to be one of those like controlling companies that you can't do what you want, because we're artists. She's also understands the concept of not being. Well, no, she understands not being tied down.
Yeah.
Like to a company and having that freedom as an artist. So that's something we never want to do.
If you look at our tour, one of the things on our tour is we had like an old school coupon book where we partner with other indie brands. I don't know if Fermar is technically indie, but they're family owned. And what we wanted to do is show that we don't have to like be in contract with all these people to be like, hey, come on tour with us. We literally gave a coupon book out for all the different companies that just rocked out with Blonde Solutions and allowed them to get in front of our audience. And the reason we decided to do that is to show that we're not one of those brands that are going to try to lock you up in a contract. You can't do this, you can't do that. We as ourselves rock out with other companies. So we're going to allow you to. As far as the bleach though, I mean, ethics is still big. Like if we're a bleach company, you can't go rock out with another bleach company. But we're fair.
You have to be fair across the board, and just knowing boundaries within company limits. But I think going forward, we want people to have that leniency. We want people to be creative in their own.
Want everyone to be a boss.
We're not trying to change the way you do hair. We don't care about the water bottle in the back of the picture. Like we want it to be just a free artistic zone, to create whatever type of blonde you want.
Right now, we have no distribution in North America, and people like a lot of the suits in the industry look at us crazy for this. So what we decided to do is we let the artists pretty much be our distributors, and we have like coupon codes. They get affiliate links. Shout out, I think Curl Factor, she went ahead and made like almost $2,000 with us in a month. Like we're out here like at least cutting check anywhere from $2,000 to as small as $45 every month. So you can't say that we're out here not trying to help the community, and we're at least trying to pay a bill. It may not be that much, but I know it's someone's cell phone bill out here. I mean, we
have affiliates on our team because we don't have a distribution channel. All we do is pretty much sell through our e-commerce, and then let's say you like Blonde Solutions and you use it, we would give you a referral link, and anybody who's in your area who wants to buy product, they would just buy. Or anytime you post about us, every time you post, have them click your link, and you get paid off of it. So we had one girl that made close almost $2,000 in a month. You know,
or you buy, use your own. A lot of people miss.
Oh yeah, that's too. Yep.
If you buy, use your own link so you can make money off your own purchases.
Yep. Right. That makes sense.
And a lot of people, they figure. So we have salons that buy for their salons, and they pretty much buy through their own. Yep, the owner of the salon will buy through their own code, and then they will get a percentage right back. Nice. So you know that's what we were trying to do, something different in the industry to where we're still helping us.
The senior stylist, we created like a senior stylist program.
Yep.
So let's say you're an affiliate with us. At the end of the year, we'll give you 1.5% back of all your commissions to hopefully help like start your retirement. I haven't seen no industries out here or no one in this industry trying to help people exit this industry in a comfortable manner. Like, you know, of course, we got 401k, so you can go out and diversify portfolios.
Right.
Like in the classes, I told people about whole policies. I call them the oh shit funds from like parents. Like if something goes wrong in the salon, you can pull from these different policies to help. But no one's teaching that in this industry. This is such like a powerful industry, but it's almost like the industry tries to like hide the knowledge from everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
Like few. That's it.
Yeah. And it's like, I think the affiliate program is phenomenal, you know, just giving people opportunities to, you know, make income, you know, whether they're behind the chair or not.
And I know right now we probably get cursed out by our consultants that like tell us like, you know, the decisions.
It's so dumb.
And they're like, why are you guys taking so long? You can easily go into these, you know, bigger platforms. But if we did that, then what would
like a sellout?
Not just a sellout, you know, because during the pandemic, who really got hit the hardest was hairstylists.
Yeah.
You know, so why not at least try to figure out a way to make us some money, you know, as artists? And there are hairstylists that are taking advantage of the program. One young lady was making almost like $600 a month. She was able to go get herself a new car, simply just from using it. So all those things make us feel good. That's like, man, we actually did our part.
We could have just did what everyone else did, went straight to the store and cut out for the artist.
Yep.
Right.
And we're actually we're making sure that, let's say we do decide to go a distributor route, we are standing 10 toes down that even with a distributor, we still want our affiliate program. Right. So that's one of the things, that's kind of one of our terms with our, you know, distribution agreements, is that we keep our original channel of having the artist still make money, you know, and that they can't really stop that because that's still our choice as a brand. It's part of the brand. So you can't take away something that is the reason why people want us in their salons.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. Powerful. And, you know, it's shifting the trajectory of the industry. And so,
and I'm pretty sure people might not agree with it on the business side, but as an artist, we need to at least focus on us for a second, and then let's go ahead and then we can go into, you know, making, because it's going to be here. It's not going anywhere. So I would much rather make an impact in my community first and then start talking about the money, because the first thing everybody's going to say is, well, they get money and, you know, how come we not? It's automatic. So how about let's feed and take care of everybody first, make sure everybody has an opportunity to win, and then we can, you know, explore other options.
Okay. And if someone's interested in the affiliate program, how would they sign up for that?
It's actually on our website. So if you click the link that is there that says blondesolutions.com, you go to where it says Money Solutions, and there's two different forms. One form is to be an affiliate. The other one is for the senior stylist program. So now you can't do both. Unfortunately, like if you're a senior stylist, you have to pick if you want to do one or the other. It's completely up to you of what you want to do as far as, you know, the money. Like you can either put it in a savings account or you can take it to the boat and go gamble, whatever you want to do. Like we're not trying to tell people what to do with their money, but at least we are putting it in your hands to earn some extra money.
Yeah.
And so anytime people think about it right now, how many stylists right now are posting, you know, different brands out there? They're posting them for free. Or for free product. At least when you post us and you put a link in there, you have the opportunity to make some money off of that post.
Right. Nice. Okay. That sounds great. And, you know, it's like you were touching on some of like the distribution challenges and that type of thing with we've seen like cost rising in the industry.
Yeah.
And like you say, your product is more of a premium level product to begin with. So how should hairstylists kind of address rising costs and still make it profitable?
I'm gonna hit them with the
Which part?
how the cars are made. I think the easiest
Yeah,
way to
but
explain.
wait. First of all, this is the easiest time to raise your prices right now. We just came out of a pandemic. When I went to McDonald's today, I definitely went to McDonald's. They had a sign. All our prices are up. So right now, it's the easiest time to raise your prices without a lot of you catching a lot of flack. Yeah. But go ahead and say what you were going to say.
So I think one of the ways we were able to, push Blonde Solutions, we pushed it as a premium brand. We did this campaign with Lambos, with Lamborghinis. And we did this campaign with Lamborghinis because we caught crap for it because my dad is like, why? He's our CFO. He's like, why do we have to get 3 Lambos? I'm like, just follow the vision, okay? The day that we did that in Florida, we gained over 5,000 followers through Florida because we were driving around with these Lamborghinis and we had our logo on the car. So
and our
ads. So everybody saw what Blonde Solutions was about. You have to label your brand as a luxury product if you strongly believe that it is. So in order for you to sell a premium brand to your clients, they have to see that it's a premium brand. So when people see Blonde Solutions, they think Lambos, they think that it's a guarantee. This is going to cost me a little bit more. And that's why we always for example, here at the salon, you can have your hair colored with this, or you can have your hair colored with Blonde Solutions. So you're giving your clients, people like options. So, and a lot of the times you have clients that can afford this and can't afford that. And then you have some clients that they don't care the price. They just want premium products and premium service. Premium products and premium service go hand in hand.
Right.
So if I have a premium artist and they're using just whatever product, it does not match. And 9 times out of 10, that customer feels like, well, you just used something from Sally's, and why am I paying extra because I'm paying for you? Some people aren't always okay with that. So you do have to have a product that aligns themselves with each other, with the brand and the product have to align themselves together. Okay. So again, I always tell people, Honda Civic was built in 6 hours. A Rolls Royce takes about 6 months. Okay. So you are getting a premium product because yes, it takes longer for the service. So I charge about $100 an hour doing blonding services. So you're charging more for the service because you are actually spending more time with that client.
Yeah.
So this is no longer a 2-hour service. It's not a 3-hour service. If you're here in the salon from 6 to 9 hours, this is now a longer process. You're going to end up spending more money.
Mm-hmm. Right. Okay. Well, I love it. Love it. So anything that you guys want to say?
Sorry.
You can't be in the salon and not get
by walking. It's okay.
Absolutely. So anything that you guys want to leave our viewers with? Anything you want?
I would say, if anything, check out these bleach battles. I really want to leave you guys with this. If you are a colorist and you are interested in education and you just want to work with a company and actually have some branded education to back you as an artist, please come out to the bleach battles. We have the dates listed on our website. Make sure to check it out because the only way to gain knowledge, and even if let's say you're just using this for practice, we call it, the reason why we keep picturing it like a battle, it's like sparring. This is the only way you can gain education is to learn from other educators. So you're going to be in a room full of education from all demographics. So it's a great learning experience for everybody. And then also we're hiring, so this is a great time to, if you want to get, out from behind the chair, you want to be an educator, this is a great, opportunity to do so.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, I want to thank you guys for being here.
No problem.
Are generously offering our viewers a special. So you want to tell them about that?
So pretty much if you go to blondesolutions.com and enter Beauty Stars with the S on the end 10, you'll go ahead and get 10% off of our entire website. This is literally a code only for you guys. It's not even displayed up for anyone else on our site, our Instagram pages. So just rock out here and get the code.
Okay. And it's beautysuperstars.com or Beauty Superstars 10.
Beauty Superstars 10 is the code.
Yep. So definitely go check that out. Try out the product and see how you like it. Follow the instructions,
Yeah, please.
And it's show them how to get in contact with you guys.
Oh yeah, you guys can you can reach out to us via DM at Blonde Solutions, or you can email us. Is right there, info@blondesolutions.com.
or DM us. We're normal people. Like his name is
Okay.
@Moesco. I'm Beauty Politics. Daniel's Hair Like a Boss. Yeah, Ali is M_Ali. If you got any financial questions,
Okay.
we're all there. We're all regular people.
Awesome, awesome. And where did the Mohesco come from?
It's actually a joke. When I first met her, she thought that this whole thing that my family is doing is like a drug front. And so she was nicknaming me Muhammad Escobar. And so like it was like a narcos, like fictional, like Egyptian drug lord. Cause she was like, this is a drug front.
I'm from up north. There's no like Egyptian hairstyle or none of this. None of this is real.
Yeah. So yeah, that's it.
Awesome. Wasn't expecting all that, but that's really cool.
That's actually, so it's shortened, so it's a fictional character. It doesn't even mean anything. So
okay.
Moesco is actually short for Muhammad Escobar.
Got it. Okay.
Character that is not even real. So, but we rolled with it, and that was the name that I came. So it's almost like an alias. People don't know you until they know you. So I know if somebody calls me Moesco, they might not know me, but if they call me Aymen, then they for sure.
Right,
now you guys know me.
Yeah, well, I want to thank you, Aymen and Leah. It's like you guys for taking time out of your day. I know you got 1,000 things going on.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
Getting ready for the holidays and everything.
Yes.
And so we really appreciate everything that you shared, and hearing the family dynamics is awesome. So I think
thank you so much.
Yeah, you guys.
Thank you for having us. I know like we're stressful running around, so I appreciate you just being like patient with me, especially.
Okay.
I was supposed to do this, and I missed it. And I was like, oh, this week, like booked Miami tickets to cancel him to go see our warehouse. It's really stressful, and I just appreciate your patience. And
no problem. No problem. It's like
Thank
we
you
try
so
to make everything happen, but this has been wonderful. It's like, and I wish you continued success with Blonde Solutions. It's like you guys are doing amazing things.
Thank you so much.
Just game changers for real. So
thank you so much. We love you so much.
Bye, guys. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So everyone watching, it's like drop what you got out of this, in the comments, because it's like there's a lot of good gold in here. So
yes,
check that out. And definitely I've done over 70 of these types of interviews with Black beauty bosses. So it's like if you haven't already, to check them out. It's on my YouTube, which is Mickey Wright, just MIKI. Everyone tries to give me different letters, but it's just simple MIKIWRIGHT on YouTube, and you can check them out, or visit beautysuperstars.com and /podcast, and you can actually sign up, and we'll find you, when the next one's coming out. So each Tuesday morning at 10 a.m. And if you're looking to raise those prices, don't forget to download your free workbook, which is a power pricing workbook. And it gives you the first 3 steps of what you need to do to raise your prices. So it's at beautysuperstars.com. And I will look forward to seeing you guys next time. So take good care, everyone. Keep reaching for the stars.
Bye, guys. Bye. Take care.
See you.